Alright, apparently we leave money lying down here as well. And more money on the ground. And more money on the ground.
Good. My little stratagem is in place. All I need to do is to wait for him to come back here.
That's not suspicious at all. Not suspicious at all. Go... Wait a minute, what do we do? We have to ether him, right? Or we just lock him in, really?
I have to shut him up, and quickly.
Okay, we just chucked the bottle in there. Amazing. Amazing. Okay.
Perfect. Thanks to the ether, this baller will sleep for a long time. Perfect.
Alright, amazing. We knocked out the guard. Let's go continue to walk around the fair. I mean, the clue with the elephant, I'm just thinking back to that other puzzle. The clue was the elephant can stand... Like, only the elephant can stand amongst predators? But it's like, there's a difference between standing among predators and can standing among predators. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's not think too much about it. I still think the clues were a little bit weak for that one. Apparently we can't do anything here, we just have to walk forward. Oh wait, no, rope. Rope is always useful.
Another guard. This place is full of them. I cannot risk a confrontation. He'll see me coming and I'll lose the element of surprise. I'll need to find a way to trap him.
Of course I will. I guess we're coming in here. What shenanigans are we gonna do now?
They must have exhibited those poor wretches in these cages and presented them as being dangerous. Bearded lady.
Bearded lady. Or, you know, a man. Bearded lady, like that's the most ridiculous show.
Be careful of those boxes. They are balanced, one on top of the other. It would take very little to knock them over.
Okay. A person with a beard who looks like a woman but is actually has a beard. Oh, there's a person in there. There's a Wolfman.
People must have been locked up in here, and they are certain to have been mistreated.
There's actually a person in there still. How is he still alive?
This cage is still occupied. Not by one of the monsters, but by a poor man. He's still alive, but he's barely human now. Moriarty must have tested his poison on this poor fellow. If he was freed, he would leap at the throat of the first person he saw.
Well, maybe I should free him.
I wonder what this machinery is used for. A rail system is fixed to the ceiling, and a hook is hanging from it. It must be used for moving heavy and bulky objects.
Sure. Use the crank.
The crank is in place.
Now crank
The
it.
hook is above the cage of this poor wretch.
The hook is above the cage of the poor wretch?
I need something.
I need something, guys. Maybe I can... rope?
There, the rope is in place.
The rope is in place.
This way I can open the poor fellow's cage from the outside, without taking any risks.
Okay, we're gonna unleash him on the guard. Amazing. Bearded lady.
This large, empty aquarium held the fair's main attraction.
A mermaid.
The mermaid, Poseidon's daughter.
Or like, you know, a topless woman with an outfit on.
I suppose it was on this small stage that the monsters were presented to the public.
Guts?
Ah, here's something interesting. Hans's diary.
I'm gonna read a lot. Monday the 8th, Moriarty is behind schedule. I've been waiting for 2 days now for the materials I need for my research to be delivered. He will have to get a move on if he wants me to take over the work he has started. My patience has its limits. I have filled in my time by reorganizing this place. An old fair sideshow exhibiting monsters. I don't know if Moriarty is aware of the irony of the situation. To calm my impatience, they brought me a subject at the end of the morning, a dirty old tramp in good health. He will do. I'm going to test the last evolution of Moriarty's poison on him. Night has fallen and the test is finished. We had to kill the subject. His continuous worrying annoyed the boss. I can understand now why he needs my genius to help him advance in his research. The subject was in such a state of murderous madness that he became completely uncontrollable. He didn't even seem to understand the simplest orders. It's a long way from the desired result. Tuesday 9, the material still hasn't arrived. On a brighter note, I received 2 new subjects. A man in his 50s, thin, hairy, and toothless, and another who was younger but equally repulsive. We should be thanked for the cleaning of such parasites off the streets. Wednesday 10, I was woken in the middle of the night by screams and laughter which seemed to be coming from the freak show. 2 of Moriarty's men, completely drunk, had locked the 2 subjects up in the same cage before giving them the bowl of poison. They were amusing themselves by betting on the combat's outcome. I hurried off to warn the boss, we can't waste material this way. I rather liked the expressions when they woke up a few hours later in the cages instead of the tramps. It must have been the worst hangover of their lives. Thursday 11, I finally received the material and the ingredients which will allow me to modify Moriarty's poison. The first experiment is going to be very simple. I'm just going to make a few drops of my famous will-annihilating poison and mix them with Moriarty's poison. We will see if that is sufficient to make them obey orders. It's a failure. The subjects didn't even have the time to kill each other. They died in less than 30 seconds after being given the poison. The effect of the 2 poisons didn't add up as expected. On the other hand, I'll keep the dosage in mind. Poison that fries the brain so quickly cannot really be called a failure. Friday 12th, I worked all night to develop the second dosage. This time I distilled the curare differently to obtain a less powerful derivative. I also modified Moriarty's poison, but he was not very open about its composition, so I had to improvise. Another failure. The subject did not die immediately, but he was as uncontrollable as the others. The only difference of note is that the wounds and the tissue damage did not get any worse after the poison was taken. That is not of no interest. We are not here to treat them. Moriarty assisted in the experiment. He did not say anything and left in silence. He wasn't pleased. I think he's starting to get impatient. Saturday 13, Moriarty is becoming impatient. The idiot doesn't understand anything and he dares to question my talent. He was the one who came to find me to modify the poison. He'd been trying for weeks without success. He's been trying for weeks without success, and now he wants me to succeed in 2 days. We had an overheated discussion about it, but I finally got him to admit that a chemist has no choice but to bow to the rules of science. It's nature that sets men the rhythm and not the other way around. I tried another dosage. The third test was a semi-failure. This time the subject alternated the bouts of madness with a fall of blood pressure. He went from enraged to comatose in a few seconds. I think we were on the right track. Sunday 14. Moriarty doesn't want to wait any longer. This morning he openly threatened me. He has given me 2 days to obtain a conclusive result. He gave me to understand that past this deadline I'll go from being the researcher to becoming the guinea pig. I am confident enough I was able to worm the components of his poison out of him, and as I thought, the problem isn't with my creation, it's with his. His idiot apprentice chemist who worked on it made so many mistakes in the dosages that I'm amazed that it produces the effect that it does. I have spent more than 10 hours going over the dosages of Moriarty's poison, and I have finally obtained something sufficiently pure to be mixed with my personal composition. A new subject must be delivered as soon as possible. I can't wait to see the results. I succeeded. The problem wasn't with my poison, but with theirs. It was much too strong. I modified it and the subject proved to be obedient without losing any of his fury. True, he did eat his own hand, but this time it was because we told him to. It's the first time we've seen Moriarty smile. We have attained the objective. At any time, Moriarty can poison a large section of London's population. The choice of the Whitechapel area is a natural one. It is there that the greatest number of the starving can be found. So at the given moment, these thousands of ragged soldiers can invade the city and spread chaos such as the British Empire has never known. Nothing will stop their fury. The devastation will last for the time that the boss needs to seize power and place that pathetic clown Woodville on the throne. Then the killing frenzy will stop of its own accord. I programmed the poison to last for 48 hours. After that, the patients will join their victims in the paradise of the flea-ridden. Monday 15th, I am now going to be able to mass-produce this wonderful poison. Moriarty has set his men to cleaning up the warehouse below. It is a perfect place, and it even has an enormous reservoir in the roof. The boss came here in person to pay me part of the money I was promised for my work. I'll have to rest when this plan has succeeded. I'll soon be incredibly rich. Or, he'll kill you, because bad guys do that.
What a dreadful diary. That Hans is the only real monster ever to have frequented this attraction.
Oh, well, there's you as well, Sherlock. You are also quite monstrous.
Chemistry material.
A note from the Funfair's director. My friends, as you all know, next week our adventure must come to an end. You also know that I'm no good at speeches, so I'll keep this brief. After all the years spent with you here, I can honestly say that I think of you as my family. I'm going to miss all of you. Before the fair closes, we've got one last week in business, and during this time I want you all to give the very best of yourselves so that the public will never forget us. So before getting back to work, here is the list of jobs for the week. Roger, clean out the aquarium. Alice, kitchen. Tom, pest control. Martha, responsible for the keys to the place. Keith, upkeep of the rail and the cages. H. Ferguson. Ferguson owns the circus. Alright, so Martha has the keys.
The bearded lady kept the key to this exhibition. Interesting.
Martha has the keys. Alright, so there's all of that. The bearded lady had the keys, which, incredibly, is just underneath the poster? I can't click on there? Why is it there?
There is something interesting here.
Alright, no, let's go back. The key is behind. Why would the key...
Here's what I've been looking for. The trap is in place. Now I only need to get the guard to go inside the freak show.
Why would the key be behind the poster?
guard must have been warned. I need to get out of here. The guard is inside. I must close the door quickly.
Close the door quickly. Close the door quickly?
I can't do that.
What do you mean? Oh, key? Key. Ah, get locked.
Closed. I must find a way of neutralizing the guard inside.
I believe what you're talking about is we're gonna unleash a crazy person on him so that they'll eat each other. And that, for some reason, is a reasonable thing to do.
I can't do that.
What do you mean? Pull the thing. Pull the thing. The step ladder is still there.
I'll be leaving you. I'm sure you have a great many things to do.
That makes no sense. How does the crazy guy not understand to use the ladder? Alright, well, that's convenient. That's real convenient. Anyway,